gonna be half Filipino, half black. That means she's gonna be pretty. She's gonna have light skin and good hair.
These hoes is God's gift like Christmas. I like them caramel skin, long hair, thick ass.
Cause y'all know if that nigga was Bernie Mac Black or Precious Purple, he wouldn't have won.
All the guys ran after the light-skinned girls with long, straight hair. And that left me out.
Like, who are you calling black, motherfucker? I'm brown, you midnight. Who the fuck are you calling black?
Colorism is the prejudice or bias against people based on the shade of their skin. It often occurs among people within the same ethnic group. Colorism is said to privilege people of a lighter skin tone.
I actually think that colorism is an issue because, as you can see on adverts on television and stuff, it's usually like the lighter you are, the more you get the jobs and stuff. We don't usually see like black models coming through, even on magazines and stuff. It's always like the lighter people that gets the shots and stuff.
I think if you're of lighter skin, then you're preferred to be like a better person than a darker skinned person. So I think it's an issue because then it also like influences one's self-esteem and makes a person less confident about themselves just because of their complexion. So.
With friends, the friends you chill with usually influence the type of girl you go for, especially if like she is a certain color. Usually if she's very dark, in the case of black people, if she's very dark, your friends tend to tease you a lot about her. Like, why would you go for this chick and stuff like that? If she's a light skin, you're seen as sort of, I don't know, like between the guys, you're sort of a dog because, I mean, you got this girl.
I've never actually seen a black Barbie doll also, so I could say it does influence like the little children as well because they grow up thinking that the lighter you are, the prettier you are.
The consensus is usually that colorism stems from the concept of racism. South Africa has had a long history of skin color stratification dating back to colonialization and apartheid. Under European influence, features such as white skin, straight hair, and light-colored eyes were overtly promoted as the standard of civilized existence, intelligence, beauty, wealth, and power. Colorism is considered a form of internalized racism. After centuries of being conditioned to view white as superior and their own race and culture as inferior, many people were broken and eventually believed and acted according to the black and white dichotomy. Colorism is a manifestation of the idea that even if one isn't white, one's worth may be determined by how close one is to being white.
When I was younger, I hated it. I wanted to be light-skinned. I wanted to be like my friends. I wanted to be like the people on TV. I'm quite dark because my dad's West African. So with that being said, I'm not your average like dark-skinned, closer person. I'm a bit darker. And when people see me, they always say, I wasn't too sure if you were actually South African.
I was in junior primary. And I went to an all-girls school, so we used to have, like, fun days with the boys, and the teachers would take us to Dale. Like, Dale Junior was literally up the road from our school. And then we had this fun day racing with races and all those different things. And then afterwards, the teachers would sit, and then the boys and the little boys and little girls will interact. And then this one little boy we were all I was standing with my friends. I think it was Valentine's Day. It was actually even on Valentine's Day, imagine. And then he comes up to me and he says, I'll say it in Xhosa, "Awumnyama ingathi utsululwe yidonki," meaning you're so dark, it's like a donkey farted in your direction. And I was like, that can't be nice, you know. And the thing is, everyone else started laughing, but my friends didn't laugh, you know. So I was just like, that means something's wrong with me. This person has pointed out the fact that I'm dark, so what, is my darkness a problem? Is it an issue? Because I remember I was actually really hurt. I was really upset. Because I didn't understand why this little boy chose me, first of all. Oh boy, I've never seen him in my life. Didn't even know we were in the same grade. Just randomly chose me, minding my own business with my friends, and decided, you know what? I'm going to say this to her, and it's going to be an insult because all my friends are going to laugh and she might cry.
People started calling me a yellow bone roughly during high school. I grew up in a family where everyone's like light in complexion. I felt it was normal, it was the norm. But when I got to high school, people would be like, oh my gosh, you're so light, you look like a colored. And then I started knowing that, oh my gosh, I'm actually light. Over time, it has been subconsciously like stamped on me that you're light in complexion, until I've noticed that, okay, I'm lighter than other black people. My first 2 weeks of varsity, because I was quiet and I didn't know anyone, so people just assumed I was colored. And then later on, I'd have to say, no, I'm black. And then they say, oh, so you mixed black, like you're not proper black, like there's something missing out of me.
When I was younger, it was more of I didn't understand what the problem was. It didn't make sense to me. I knew what racism was, but what's this? You know? And I always had like people call me unomnyamazana, you know, the little black girl. And I was like, oh, okay, fine, I understand that. But then when people tried to use it to hurt me, I was like, oh, okay, so for some people, this could actually be a problem.
While the issue of racism is still relevant to South Africans 20 years after democracy, colorism is not openly discussed. But what is the difference between colorism and racism?
Colorism is definitely way worse than racism because as different races and as the black race, we knew discrimination. We knew how it is to be prejudiced against. We knew how it is to be another race being biased towards their own. You know, we knew the feeling of not being inferior. Now we're taking that feeling into our own race and subjecting it to our own people, and we're thinking it's okay. So it's a sort of thing of we adapted another mentality that was wrong, took it in a box, threw it into our own race and said, but it's right if we put it here. Why?
Colorism is a bit worse because we don't expect from people who we thought would accept us. Racism, we know if it's a thing of white people who don't like us, we know they don't, or whatever, or a certain group of people won't like us, you know, and it's not a thing, it's better, but we know it exists, it's covert, you understand, but like when it comes to people within your community who don't like you because of the shade of your skin, it just hurts a bit more, you know, because you would think that people would accept you within like your community. I don't know.
I think when my sister was in grade 10 or grade 11, there was this, before that there was no social media, there was no Facebook and stuff, so these boys printed this gossip girl type of gossip boy, like it was a tabloid type of thing. They tried to make it into a magazine. And they were saying really horrible things about different people. And then they wrote these quotes, all right? And then they signed people's names to the quote. So my sister's quote was, when the sun goes down, do I still exist? And then they wrote her name and everything, Kosi Yankee. And I remember it was such a big thing at the school because they were talking about other girls sleeping around. It was a really big thing that the secretary called my mom. Or was it my sister? Yeah, my sister asked to call my mom and she was crying. And she was just hysterical, like, why is this coming up? Why am I in this book? I'm in this book because you decided to make fun of my complexion. How do you say to someone, you're so dark that if the sun goes down, chances are you won't exist? Like, it's things like that. And I remember my mother was so upset. The fact that it wasn't only me, it was also my sister, it also affected her, but she's always been the type of person to
just push things aside. But that really got to her. I remember she actually left school midday because everyone was talking about this. And why did it have to be her complexion? You didn't have her there because you didn't have her there for anything else. She wasn't a part of the gossip. But no, you decided, I'm going to pick out that girl because of her complexion. I'm going to write in the book because this is funny to everyone else. After what happened to my sister and how it hurt her, because she was young at the stage, I think she was in grade 10, my dad was also very furious because he didn't understand. He was like, how do South Africans make this into such a horrible thing?
When I get angry, I always say to people like that no, this is apartheid mentality which classifies people according to color, and even people with darker skin hues are thought of as more inferior than other people.
Previously, colorism was said to privilege light-skinned people. However, an increased awareness of colorism shows that discrimination occurs at both sides of the spectrum.
In terms of when you want to represent colorism, darker skinned people are represented more because they're the people who are ostracized more in the same, but you can't disregard a lighter skinned girl's feelings because then for them they're always trophies all the time, or they're considered as trophies. Nobody said that's always a great thing. Nobody says that's the only thing they want to be considered as. But even still, if you look at it, if she talks from a place of privilege, there's still going to be somebody considered better than her. Yeah. Because even though she is light-skinned, there's still going to be a Hispanic person who could be considered better than her. And there's a white person who could still be considered better than her. So it's still, it's just in terms of how they're how they're presented or whatever, represented.
I agree with Kiki. It's fine. Ooh, everyone's always like, ooh, you're so beautiful. Ooh, you're so light and everything. But sometimes it's just like, okay, what else? What else? So it's fine. It's not that I look in the mirror and I'm like, I wish I was darker because I'm getting too much attention. But it's just always, when you're talking to me, are you talking to me because something inside of me attracted you? Or are you talking to me just because
how I know
I'm really bright? So yeah, but it's something that I guess I can't be, or light-skinned people can't be all out here being like, oh no, it's so hard being light-skinned, because everyone else in the room, or the darker people in the room, would be like, what do you mean? What you talking about?
I believe that yellow bones live a more challenging life than me, for example.
Because more is expected of them.
Yeah, because they have to there's so much
up to these standards.
They regard it as plastic vibes, they're not taken seriously.
Whatever you say, it doesn't matter because you light-skinned, you're an airhead.
The color complex is also exported around the globe, mostly through media images and text. This includes movies, music, videos, advertisements, stand-up comedy, as well as social networking sites. The continuous use of only light-skinned people in the media reinforces the idea that light skin is more beautiful, that light skin is the ideal. Adding to this reinforcement is our consumption of American-produced media, which rarely contains images of dark-skinned women.
Pick your Denny, Barbie doll, high yellow heifer, tar baby, wanna be white, jigaboo. Don't start. We're gonna finish. She's my red-bone girl, bittersweet, but she's my world.
I never fit in with them light skins. I felt the lighter they was, the better that their life is.
Mixed race people are categorized as black in America. Yeah. The only catch is, and nobody tells you this, you have to be liked and successful first.
In society, I feel like my issues won't be taken seriously because they view me as being privileged. My issue is not as relevant as a darker person's. I had to work on the fact that people just viewed me as a pretty face, so I had to excel in my books, just so people can say, you know what, she's not just a pretty face, she's book smart. So I'd work harder, of which I had a friend who was dark in complexion, so people just automatically assumed she was smart. So people just viewed her and saw her as this smart person, and she's great, and she's got a good personality. But they never really focused on her physique and how she looks. But with me, as her friend, they'd actually view me as how I looked, and she was like, oh my gosh, she's light, she's pretty. And it would end there. I felt like it was shallow. Like, I feel like they painted me as a 2D character. I don't have other things besides how I look. It shouldn't be like that, because it's going to come to a point where dark in complexion people hate light in complexion people, and light in complexion people have issues against dark people. I don't like being boxed. I feel like you're giving me a stereotype. So I per se don't like being called a yellow girl.
How is this a problem? Are we not all supposed to be united and supposed, especially black people? How is it that we have problems within the black society? How is colorism the thing, something that we have to fight off amongst each other?
Colorism in South Africa is not limited to a specific racial group, but rather manifests within different races and ethnic groups. For example, within the Indian community, the lighter-skinned Indians are considered to be more marriageable, beautiful, and intelligent.
It's an underlying issue that's there in our society, and no one wants to point at it. You're so dark, you probably blend in with the night sky. It starts with those small things as kids, and then sometimes you're just saying it passed by, like it's just something just there, but it actually offends the other person, and that person sticks with it. And then the next time someone comments about their complexion, it's a sensitive issue, and even if that person was joking, it's as if that person is attacking her or him.
It took me a while from when I was 8 to when, there were times in high school where, be like, oh, what's your dog friend's name? It just, instead of me getting hurt, it used to make me angry. And I'd try, cover all of that up with being, the fun soso, the funny soso, the soso who cracks jokes, or the soso who dresses well. So I tried to overcome that by putting more emphasis on other things, instead of actually being, or like when people point me out, they won't say, oh, it's Soso the dog, or Soso the dog girl. No, it's Soso, man, Kosi's sister. Soso, you're the one that's in debating. Soso, that's this. I just wanted another title. I wanted another title, not Soso the dog girl.
Like when you're dark-skinned in society or in South Africa, you get judged a lot by a lot of different people saying, she's too dark. Like, what does she think where is she gonna get with her skin color and all that? You get your peers judging you, saying all types of bad things about you before they actually get to know you. So, yeah.
Just let a dark person walk here, and you'd see how people react. People like, whoa.
So he looks around, he looks at the darkest guy in the corner, just the blackest guy he could find, and he goes, hey, yo, you the dude from Africa?
My name is Clarice Precious Jones. I want to be on the cover of a magazine. I wish I had a light-skinned boyfriend with real nice hair. But first, I want to be in one of them BET videos.
She's sweet as brown sugar with the candy yams, honey-coated complexion, using Cabernet. Have you ever seen a light-skinned free? Butter pecan or vanilla, nipples and a pussy pink.
Yo, I didn't even know they got, you the dude from Africa? Man, I didn't even know they got light-skinned niggas out there.
In all facets of South African life, you get this coming. But it depends on you, the individual, as to how you take it. Would you let it affect you to the extent that you You become immobilized, not to move, not to do anything, because somebody is going to pass a snide remark. Somebody is going to discriminate against you in the workplace. Are you going to let that affect you so that your work suffers? No.
Society has changed its values and morals, because I feel like it shouldn't be an issue how you look. What should be an issue is how you treat people, how you engage with other people. I think those are other issues that people should be tackling.
I'm older now, and I'm not much more wiser, but I understand things more. I have pride in it. I'm actually quite proud of being a dark-skinned woman. For me personally, I find strength in it somehow. 3 years ago, I lost my mom, and I was just like, before that, I'd think, oh my gosh, I'm so dark, I need to stay out of the sun. I used to use it. And I realized that, hey, there are problems in the world, hey. There are issues. People don't have food. People don't have access to basic necessities. And you're worried because you're dark-skinned. The fact that you're dark is not a problem. The day people realize that is the day that people will be free. As black women, we forget that we are queens. Loving yourself is a journey, hey, and it's something you need to do and to actually fight off what society wants you to be and what society sees. Loving yourself is taking what people use against you and using it as something positive.